All right, what's up, gamers? We're back with Underdogs podcast number 8. You got a problem with the term gamers, Zach?
Yes, I do.
We are a gaming channel.
gamers.
We are a gaming channel.
We're marketed towards anyone with the old podcast here.
Hey guys, let me know in the comments if you're a gamer.
But if you're not, I hope you will enjoy today's podcast. In fact, I know you will enjoy today's podcast.
Yeah, because we're not going to talk about games.
What are we going to talk about?
I think we're just going to talk about existence.
Okay.
You know, like what has led us all to this moment? Because we're all feeling pretty introspective lately. You know, Jackson's done some meditating recently.
Not recently, actually. This is a
No.
long time ago.
Yeah, could we talk about how this got cut out of the last podcast, but can we talk about how Jackson meditated for 3 hours?
Yeah, so back when I was in school, I used to do a lot of meditation. And yeah, I just used to get it for longer and longer. And it probably went for like 2 to 3 hours a lot of the time. Just got really good at it. And I don't know why I gave it up. And then when we recorded last week, I was like, maybe get back into it. And then I didn't again. I still think it's really good, but I just haven't done it.
But anyway, while Jackson was not meditating, we are all thinking, you know what led us to this moment? So we're just going to tell a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Monkeys.
Evolution.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks, man.
We didn't come from... Yeah, right. Anyway,
God.
moving right along.
God.
Yes, before we open that can of worms.
Yeah, I don't want to get into the evolution debate in episode 8 of our podcast. Get us cancelled. That would not be good.
80.
80.
You guys will hear it.
Yeah, episode 80.
Oh, I guess.
I bash every religion.
Oh, Jesus.
All
What
right.
are your thoughts on religion?
Oh,
Episode 80.
actually, it's actually not controversial to talk to. It's not bad to talk about.
You can talk about yours. I wouldn't
You can
bash
talk about it
any other ones.
respectfully with the other ones.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like we
sure.
need religion, otherwise we wouldn't have been here. We would have still been throwing rocks at each other.
Yeah.
Would we?
Yeah, think about all the tribes that didn't have religion. Where are they?
They got killed by the tribes of religion because they were like
Exactly.
going on crusades.
We were too powerful. Religion was
Brilliant.
necessary.
God
to
was
bring
on our
us here.
side and
So
we
what
killed
you're
the
saying,
heathens.
you're
That's what they
saying
used to
religion's
believe.
optimal.
Yeah, I'm saying that China, they have their religion, you know? Everyone's got their religion if they made it.
China's got their religion.
They do.
And
They
what
have
is it?
lots of religions. It's very ethnically diverse.
Yeah, but you know, everywhere has a religion with their country. If they didn't, they would just
What's the
be
Australian religion?
stabbing each other in the eyes with spears, you know?
What's the Australian religion? Definitely
Like
getting on the piss.
Christian, isn't it?
Yeah, but Australians didn't come up with Christianity.
No, well,
So it's not an
it came
Australian
over with
religion.
us.
You heard it here first. Australia invented
It's
Jesus.
No,
definitely-
the Aboriginals
Yeah,
have Dreamtime and all that.
Aboriginal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have their beliefs as well. Anyways, what
Anyway,
about-
my thoughts on religion. I don't believe in anything. I'm very boring. So I don't know. I don't really have any good stories
Are
about
you
it.
atheist or agnostic?
Look, I used to say I was agnostic and I was like, not really, but I would be open-minded if there was like, this is really dumb. If there was like irrefutable evidence,
You'd be open-minded.
I would be open-minded.
You wouldn't
to that.
confirm it if there was irrefutable evidence. You'd be open-minded.
No, I would believe it if it was irrefutable, but you know,
Yes.
some people would be like, no, I would still deny it because I'm so sure it's
So
not
you're
it.
refuting, or you're not refuting the evidence.
He was just saying he follows the evidence, I think is
Yeah.
basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Which
And I'm
I'm,
a
the,
man of
science.
I have
not seen any evidence of God just yet.
I'm the same.
But I think it's
Basically,
kind of
I'm
like
Ben
the thing with
Shapiro.
God, right? Is
No,
you don't-
he is
you
very
have to just
religious, is
believe
he
it.
not?
Yeah,
Ben
I'm not Ben
Shapiro is
Shapiro.
religious, but he also just...
Ben Shapiro, if you're watching this, leave a comment.
Which he is. He's a big fan. Yeah. Big gamer. Ben
I
Shapiro.
wonder who our biggest fan is on the Underdogs. Like the most famous person that's
Oh.
like...
Oh,
Because surely a couple celebrities play Super Smash Bros.
That
And they've
Disney
gone
person
a
Peter
little
did
bit
a
on
video with?
YouTube.
Yeah, she's not super famous. She's got lots of Twitter followers.
Yeah.
Not as many as Zach it has on like YouTube.
true.
Is
You're-
Zach
you're
the
our
biggest Underdogs fan?
He's not a fan, but
I'm not a fan of
if
Underdogs.
you're a celebrity, comment below. I guess.
Little Z on the Underdogs different to Little Z, my main channel.
Yeah.
My main channel, I'm not a fan of this one at all.
Oh, why?
Okay.
Makes less money.
True.
Less money. Hey guys, make sure you subscribe so Little Z likes the channel one day.
So I have to split my revenue 4 ways. 5.
5.
Wow.
No, you're not getting a cut. You haven't said anything this pod yet.
Just
Go on.
Right,
Then.
go on.
Well, I wanted to say that in medieval times, they used to think that whoever won a war had God on their side.
Yeah.
So the people who lost would be like, oh, well, I guess it's fair enough then.
That makes sense.
They're
Going
like-
back to the medieval.
They got
That's good.
0 limbs. They're like, God really screwed me on this one.
I'm going to start doing that in Smash. Sorry to bring it back to games, but I feel
God's
like
on your
We are a
side.
gaming
beating
channel,
someone and
so-
being like, yeah, I actually had God on my side.
Well,
It's
they
like
have
the
video games.
advanced John. You're just like, oh, are you religious?
I don't people.
Oh, unlucky me, I guess.
They have
People
video
like
games in-
win tournaments and stuff, and they're like, I'd like to thank my family, thank God for letting me, and like in like sports and stuff.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
you're not really far off the truth.
Yeah,
That's not really
I
an
feel like
absurd thing to say.
A lot of sports people seem to be religious.
What about esports?
No.
You're like,
I think we're
I'd
too
like to-
privileged.
like to thank Sakurai, the god of Smash,
Yeah.
for buffing my
I
character.
feel like the more privileged that you are, the less you believe in religion.
Oh, that is the hot take.
So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we got. So, okay, let's do a bit of causation here. We got 5 white, straight males on a couch, and how many of us are religious? None of us.
Ah.
Am I right in assuming that?
Yep.
So, that's a pretty strong
Exactly,
evidence for what
exactly.
Jordan's putting down here.
Okay.
I think religion helps you
'Cause
get
we're all
through tough
privileged.
times. You know what I mean?
I think we can all admit we're fairly privileged.
we're very well off. Yes,
Yeah.
very lucky.
And
Anyway,
Privilege bingo.
let's talk about how we're privileged by telling each of our life stories.
Do we take turns, or do we like all
I
go
think we-
through like episode 1 birth, and we all take a turn?
See, I don't really know much about my birth.
I think we take it one by one.
okay.
It's a
the
big
whole
ask
thing.
to be like, hey, can you tell me your entire life story with zero preparation?
Just break it down.
Yeah, but
0
we
to
can.
5, 5 to 10.
It'll be a quick run through.
It's an overview.
I'll go first.
We're
seeing
only in
as
our 20s.
I don't really do too much interesting stuff. I was born 1997,
Where?
Victoria, which is
Really?
on the right-hand side of Australia.
Do you mean
East?
Right.
Well, like if
Like
you're
if
looking
you're
at
on a
it.
map, I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
but that's a very weird way of describing it.
Well, it's just easier. Thoughts?
The East Coast would
Yeah,
make
that-
more
It's
sense.
on the east coast for those
It's like
playing
the
along.
right side, and then you turn around, you're like, fuck, it's on the left side now.
My left.
My left,
Your
stage
right.
left. Yeah, so the right-hand side of the east for those compass users out there. And then when I was probably about 4, I moved to Perth. which is where we
Nothing
live
happened
now.
in between?
Not that I remember.
How long did it take you to learn how to use the potty?
He still doesn't know.
You would like to know.
Does anyone else remember when they couldn't reach the sink? I still remember that.
No.
What,
We had
what
like
did
a
you need
little
the sink
stool.
for?
For water.
Potty.
You got your water out of the sink?
What are you
Zach just had like a tap in the backyard that he had to drink out of.
Oh, I was thinking bathroom sink for some reason.
To wash your hands.
Yeah.
No, the kitchen sink. Need a little stool.
Yeah, kind of remember that.
What's your earliest memory, Cogger? We're about at that time. You
Oh.
probably have your earliest memory like 5 or 6, or like maybe earlier.
I think my memory's pretty poor. I don't really remember anything in particular from a long time ago. I think if I jogged my memory with other things, maybe when you guys you guys start talking about it, I might start to remember, but nothing comes to mind.
Not
Uh,
Do you remember anything
Think of
about being in
it. Tell
Victoria?
us an early memory.
No, I don't remember anything about Victoria. I'll go along and I'll tell you when I start to remember something.
Okay.
When I was in Perth, I went to, this is weird, kindergarten, and then I went to primary school. And then when I was in about year 3, I moved up on the map or north to Tom Price.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Look it
because-
up, kids. I was in the finishing up year 3, so my dad got a mining job. There's a big mining boom in WA. You might remember it.
Still, I feel like it's still
It's
happening.
definitely declining, right?
Yeah.
Mining is like our biggest export though in this
Still,
state.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's going to be for a long time. And then
Steve.
lived in Tom Price. I remember going to stop.
No, gaming is banned on this podcast. if
Didn't
that's
you
the
re-
quality of the
Didn't
gaming
you refute
references.
the gaming
The
course?
best part about that is I was thinking of yelling Steve for like 15 seconds and I was like, nope, I'm going to do it before we move
Now's
on.
the perfect moment. Steve.
He said mining. I got to get my joke in there.
I remember being in Tom Price. I remember moving to Tom Price and being scared to move there.
Was it hot there?
Oh.
Yeah, it's quite warm.
Is it red there? Is everything
Red
Yeah.
dirt
Oh, I
throughout.
gave you the red microphone. Themed.
Very themed.
Yeah, they're
Kangaroos. Yeah, it's
kangaroos.
pretty wild. It's pretty like wildlife driven.
Snakes.
Lots of snakes, lots of
You've
spiders,
gone through every animal.
scorpions.
Koalas.
Ants.
I think it's very like if you think of Australia when people are like, oh, there's heaps of snakes and spiders. That's more what they're talking about. It's like country towns.
Yeah. No, because just coming
Go
into
for
your
it.
life
We've
story.
got to do, yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, guys, we're going to go on tangents during each story,
Yeah.
so that doesn't
Yeah.
get...
Well, my sister's boyfriend.
Close enough, right?
Sweet home Alabama.
I mean, you fucked them both. It's easy
He's not
to.
related to his sister's boyfriend.
What? Oh, dear. It's a bad
It's just a weird
mistake.
connection.
Anyways, so my sister's
Back to the
boyfriend,
match.
he started working like up north, and he said
Yeah.
it's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
With like just the amount of like crickets and
Yeah,
like,
lots of locusts.
yeah,
Whew. Did
and
you
they're
try
like
any-
big.
Try any stand up when you were down there? Would have been rough with all the crickets.
Zach, can you stop making jokes this
on
podcast?
about?
Like, can you think if they're funny before you try?
Yeah, I think I need to cancel my stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
like
do any
huntsman
stand-up.
spiders and
Lots of
snakes
huntsmen.
and stuff.
We
yeah.
had to, we'd call the snake hunter a lot to come and like he'd get a snake out of your
profession?
Imagine having
Yeah,
a
like,
snake
there's like-
man on speed
There's
dial.
like a removalist.
Are they
Snake
all
removalist.
just different versions of Steve Irwin?
No, they're
Crikey,
just
that's a big
normal
one.
people.
Zach's whispering to me, snake joke.
I got told not to say it.
Nick,
All right,
say
hold on.
it's
Can we just
funny.
have a moment of silence? Zach can tell his snake joke.
All right, everyone, be quiet.
Oh, you were saying like snake hunter, and then
Do
I
you want me to
was-
start again and I'll lead
Yeah.
in? So yeah, there would be someone like a snake hunter.
Yeah, like me when I go on Elite Smash and verse lots of snakes. I didn't have time to prepare.
Sweet. Yeah, and then I moved back when I was in year 6. That's like, how old are you in year 6? Like 10?
10 or 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moved back to North Perth. It's like near the city. And then I moved to Cottesloe, which is near the beach.
Fancy.
Thank
It's
you.
a nice suburb.
It is a nice
So
suburb.
from the mining boom.
Yeah, because
Got you there.
basically we would drive like once every 3 months and spend money. And other than that, we just like wouldn't spend money. I remember like we would drive, it was like 3 hours to Karratha, might be more actually. And we get to buy one DVD. And that was like, we'd look forward to that. So basically when we lived in
Very
Tom Price for
frugal.
3 years, we just spent $0, which let me like go to a good school, get a nice house.
What
Not
did you
How
do
was
with
your primary school?
Hmm?
How was your primary school?
It's good. I was popular. Everyone fucking loved me.
Actually,
Class
is
clown?
this
Oh,
true?
I got along. I was like pretty well liked, I would say. in
Do
primary
you
school.
know anyone that you knew in primary school now? I feel like primary is very different to high school in that regard. Like,
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I've seen some of them like we'll catch up once every 2 years, but no, not really.
I remember when I moved to high school, I was like, oh, I'm not going to see my primary school friends anymore because I went to a different high school. And I was so devastated about it because obviously it's your friends at the time. But now looking back, I'm just like, they are nothing to me. Like,
You move on pretty quick, especially when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Like with friends.
The
Unless
trick
you're like
is-
next door neighbors or something. The
the
trick.
trick is not having many primary school friends.
Is that what you did?
Hello.
We'll get to that.
stay tuned for Zach's sad story.
And then did high school, finished high school.
Were you a bit of a class clown?
To an extent, not overly. Just like a few wisecracks from the back.
Oh, no.
I feel like you're missing some important life moments.
yeah.
Yeah,
What-
I feel
what
like
do you
we
wanna
skimmed
know about?
over
You've just-
all of
what
high
about
school.
your first kiss?
My first kiss. I don't actually remember my first kiss.
That
Hasn't
lit, huh?
happened yet.
That's good. That's good.
I'm waiting till marriage.
Yeah. I think it was with a girl named Hannah.
Yeah, let's go. Shout outs to Hannah.
Shout out to Hannah. Yeah. What else do you want to know? I can't really remember actually
I don't really want graphic details, but I was just like, please.
what was happening in my life. When was
Your
it?
story went, I started high school, I finished high school. Like
Well, I
nothing
don't really
happened
think
in that 5
Not
years.
much really happened in high school, I feel like.
Did you meet anyone important in your life?
No.
All right, we finished high school.
No, keep it going.
And then I did some bit of uni. Didn't really like any of that.
What did you do? What did you study?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. I did computer science at first for I did like a year of that, I think.
Was that like programming or?
Yeah. So it's like, programming.
Yeah. Dude, that's what I did. And I was not
Nerd.
happy with it.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's just boring as well.
Yeah. And then I just do a lot of engineering because I did it at UWA. So you have to do a lot of like, what's it called?
Like
Electives?
Sort, yeah, but like kind of
Broadening
related
units?
to broadening units. So I had to do a bunch of engineering. It was just like really hard. So I stopped doing that and then I started doing accounting. And then I stopped
That
doing
sounds
that.
way worse.
Yeah, I just was like, because I was good at accounting in school. Did you guys do accounting as a subject?
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, well, we did.
So you're like, I need to excite my life up a little bit. This programming's boring.
Well, 'cause I
And
was
then
like-
you went to accounting.
The two subjects I was good at school were computer science and accounting and math, but I don't want to do math. So I did them both at uni. I didn't really like them when you get more into it. And then I started doing a writing course that is on hold at the moment while I'm doing a bit of YouTubing.
Ayo.
And I met pretty much all of you guys through Smash, barring Nick, who I met through you guys.
Yeah, you missed the whole thing of you running tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
You are the reason for the
I
scene.
ran tournaments.
You're so bad at this.
Did you play
I
sport?
thought you guys were going to ask me some questions. Yeah, I played a lot of sport when I was in school. Cricket. Actually, I played just about everything for like a bit. When you live in Tom Price, there is nothing to do. So you just play organised sport a lot.
That's good that there's at least that.
Yeah.
If there wasn't that, then
That's like a big
when
part of the
trouble
culture.
starts.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like organized sport, there's a lot of it.
Yeah, no, without organized sports, then it's kind of like all the kids just kind of hang out on the streets and then stuff goes
Get into
bad.
trouble.
It does
and
become
stuff.
a big problem, like people finishing school in Tom Price and then earning too much money in mining jobs and having nothing to spend it on. So they often just turn to drugs and alcohol. And their lives just
Gambling
strippers
as well,
and
yeah.
gambling and
all that
just
stuff.
the classic.
Everyone has a jet ski and there's not water for like 6 hours. It's just stuff like that.
Is it just all cashed up bogans?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Everyone drives nice cars. Not like nice, not like sports
Bogan
cars.
nice.
But like, yeah, there's like nice utes and V8 kind of cars sort of thing. And that's my life. Any questions?
Is it
Did
good?
anything happen?
Is my life good? Yeah,
Like-
it does the job.
Does the job?
I'm still here, so it
What's
must be
your
okay.
best memory?
My best memory?
That's a hard question
That's
to
good.
ask.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Okay. Well, we can circle back to it.
That's a very hard question. I don't know.
Can I tell my life story?
What about Jordan? I thought we were going to go in order.
Yeah.
Oh, are we?
No, Zach seems keen, surely.
I think Zach got a rip
I think
already.
we just started in the wrong spot, I guess. I guess
'cause-
anyone else could be better.
Yeah, we shouldn't have started with me.
Yeah, that's right. We'll change in editing. We'll just put you last.
Okay.
So my life story starts with being born.
Oh, no.
I
I'm expecting like the TV comes on, you've got slides, like PowerPoint
Laser
presentation.
pointer.
Well, I'm not showing you that. I was naked when I was born. I want you to see. So I was born and raised
What's wrong with you today,
in
Zach?
Perth. What do you mean?
You just keep saying bizarre shit.
This is like our fourth recording of today.
Yeah.
So like I'm in that sort of mood, you know?
I'm running on 4.5 hours sleep and I still make more
I
sense
didn't
than
sleep
Zach.
much last night either, actually. But that's not about
Well,
my life.
Hey, nice one,
note
Cogger.
taken. So
What were you
yeah,
doing,
I've
Pete?
lived in Perth my whole life. I think my earliest memory is like my dad would pick me up and like carry me to bed at night and call it like a rocket ride. And then like picks me up and goes like, wee, and like pretends I'm on a rocket. And it was really just a clever way to get me to actually go to bed.
Make it a
And
game.
then like, yeah, I would look forward to it like every day.
That's
They're
so
like, go to
smart.
bed, Zach. And I'm like, you got to give me a rocket ride. And then he's just like, whoa, like carries this kid. And he's probably like, thank God this kid.
Life hacked all the
Kid is
parents
like-
in the audience.
Yeah.
That's genius.
My kindergarten and my early primary school was pretty.
I feel very out of detail now. Go on.
You literally
It was
were like,
pretty
I
alright.
went to kindy.
Well, I'm worried
I
we're going to
went
run over
school.
time.
Nah. I was just going to say, like, it was fairly uneventful until I got to, like, in year 5 is probably, like, the first big event of my life, which was going on a caravan trip around the entirety of Australia,
Gee.
which is a big continent.
That's big.
You know, it's something, random fact, I saw one of those things where it's like, you know how the maps stretch out the top and the bottom parts of the
You're
world?
putting
Yeah.
things to scale.
When you see a square map. Russia is not much bigger than Australia. That's something I found out recently. Russia looks like 2 or 3
Is it
times
because
bigger
it's
on a
stretched
map.
out on the globe?
Yeah, but in
Okay.
reality, it's only maybe like 1.2 times bigger
Oh,
than
wow, okay.
Australia.
Well, if you look at a rectangular map, look at Antarctica and it stretches all the way across the bottom,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Because on the bottom, it's not that big.
Yeah.
But Australia, the point is, Australia is a very big continent. So took 6 months off of school and traveled round to like every country, town, and major city across Australia. And
Did you get homeschooling?
yes, a little bit, but like obviously not as much as what I would have got at school.
Yeah.
But like just did a bit of like homework and stuff.
Wait, how old were you with this?
I remember having my 8th birthday on the trip.
Oh, okay.
On the road.
So quite young, which is a little bit sad because I don't remember as much as I probably would have wanted to from the trip. But then if you go on like a 6-month no school trip later in life, then it's kind of
Yeah.
like
It's a bit more.
You're missing a lot
detrimental
more,
to your
like-
school.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a pretty good age. Like you at least kind of remember it.
yeah, my parents like waited till we were at that kind of like young, like old enough to appreciate it, but young enough that it won't
How much
affect
older is
me.
your sister than you?
2 years.
Okay, so
Yeah.
she's probably
So-
the perfect age, I would say.
Yeah.
Because any older you miss school, but like you're a pretty smart kid, right? So like you probably did not really affect you missing that much school.
I
Like
don't think
you did
so.
not go back to school and were just dumb. Like
So that was a very good experience. I made a scrapbook of it because I think my parents in preparation knew I wouldn't remember that much. So I got a scrapbook to look back on. Whoa.
Hey.
And then I actually moved schools in year 6 because I was getting bullied. I think I've told the story before, but I was getting called Zach the Zebra. And I was hanging out with some bad friends because at recess we would just want to like, they were like, oh, we should play the game where we just tackle each other to the ground. And I was like the weakest one.
you just
So
get
I was
wrecked.
not very good at the game.
it's called Hunt the Zebra, the game. It's called Safari.
Yeah, I think I was
Was
just
there a
school
reason
at a
that
zoo.
it was zebra? Like, did you wear stripes or something?
Zach and Zebra both start with a Z. and
Bit of
that is-
alliteration from these young kids.
English
Poetry.
That's about the extent of it. But it was enough. I got out of there real quick smart.
Kids
Went to
tease each
a-
other about the dumbest shit. Just like
Yeah.
there's some like it's like so random.
And it really hurts.
Yeah, it can be about
Tell me
something
about
probably
it.
like good about you.
You got blue eyes.
Yeah, and they would like bully the crap out of people for that if like
Well,
they
that's
wanted
the
to.
classic of like you do good on a test. It's like,
nerd.
idiot, nerd over here. It's like what?
So moved schools. The better school I went to also had a better music program, and that's where I first started playing percussion, which is like essentially drums and everything else, like tambourine and triangle and
Anything you hit with a stick.
marimba. Yeah, pretty much. The second primary school I went to, I hung out with a group of a lot more nerdy types of friends, which is where I first got into video games, like played Guitar Hero and like...
You didn't play video games much before that?
Not really, no. And then we'll play video games, but we also, that's like I played Dungeons and Dragons once and like that sort of... So it was a lot
I
more...
played that once. It was very fun. But I just don't have the time to like...
Yeah, no,
it's
me
such
neither.
a commitment.
We should play Dungeons and Dragons sometime.
That's good.
That's a good idea.
Comment below if you want to see that.
That's a lot of preparation, actually. Anyway, continue.
So
You can
then,
buy.
and then I did the Goldilocks of like meeting in the middle of like nerdy gamers and cool Chads, Darrow guys.
That
And
is
that's how I met
Goldilocks.
Peter and Nick at high school. Got a bit of everything.
So you guys are in between nerds and
You guys are the
chads.
warm
we got
porridge.
the nerd and the Chad. Where
I don't know
the
about-
Zach's in the middle.
But the baby
he's
bear
the nerd, you're the
porridges.
Chad?
Yeah.
No,
Just
no,
to
no. They're
clarify.
both all warm porridge.
We're both Chad nerds.
Warm porridge.
Yeah,
Righto.
baby bear.
Gotcha.
So high school was pretty fun, apart from I had a terrible haircut and wore glasses and got bullied sometimes.
Yeah, I mean your voice
deserved it.
Your voice didn't drop for like.
It was YouTube bullying.
My
Zach-
voice dropped in like year 11. I was a very late
Wow.
bloomer.
Zach used to pretend like he had a lower voice and be like, "Hey guys."
It's so accurate. I should have just owned it. It's like me doing my speech about how the moon landing was faked, and I'm like, so basically the flag isn't blowing in this photo, so it's fake moon landing. No wonder I got made fun of. Fuck, I would have bullied
Was that a
myself.
presentation you did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I was in the class. I remember it.
Wait, what? Can we go into
English
detail on
class,
this?
We had to pick a topic for our presentation. Did it have to be conspiracies?
No,
or
you could pick anything. You just
could
pick
pick-
that.
Could pick anything. So I did a PowerPoint on why the moon
still think it's
landing- Of course, I don't think it was faked now.
Yeah, he knows it was fake.
Done his
You've seen
research.
the evidence.
At the time, I was absolutely convinced, and then everyone laughed at me. Well, not everyone, but it was more like Peter.
Complete silent class, and Peter's like,
I was wheezing in the back.
nice
thought-
voice.
I thought the evidence was like
Substantial.
substantial, like, but that's because I was only googling fake moon landing evidence.
Yeah.
then a couple YouTube videos.
Zach's
Yeah.
agnostic about the moon.
Yeah.
And then that's where I first kind of got into video making as well. Made some videos with friends for fun. Made some videos for school projects. Did media in the later years. So that's where I learned a lot of my like editing and film techniques. And then I moved on to university. I was actually going to do a film course at uni, but I was like, there's not that many jobs in Perth for that.
Correct.
So I ended up just being like, I kind of like science.
Yeah.
I will do science at uni. My 3-year course took 5 years. And
Standard.
Relatable.
Yeah. I did change a couple times, but it was mostly because I was failing units.
Is that
And
from
then-
like being just too lazy?
Lazy, bored.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I worked at a supermarket for 6 years. Then I worked in a gaming lounge for like a year and a half as well.
Oh, I
It's like a
forgot about
part-time
that.
thing. Yeah. That was somewhere we used to host Smash tournaments, and then I ended up getting a job there for a bit. And then after I finished uni, I got a job scanning people's bones, which took me sort of all over the country. I was driving a van and I would scan old people's bones, see how strong they are. But then,
How strong are they?
ooh,
Not
I don't
good.
know.
Not good when they're old.
Man, William Johnson from Timbuktu.
Pull out the files.
Yeah, I scanned my own bones a couple times too.
How are your bones?
Very dense.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bone flex.
Just like your head.
Nice.
And that was also when I
Yeah.
moved out of home at 23 to live with Jackson, my man.
Yeah.
And another Asiatic who you might know from videos, a guy called Simon, and Jackson's girlfriend.
At the time.
Yes, at the time.
Clarify.
And then lived there for a year with Jackson, another almost a year with Peter, and then bought my house that we are sitting in right now.
Damn.
And also in the meantime, after moving out of home, I was like, let's give YouTube a proper shot now.
I think it was when Ultimate got announced. You were like, I probably should get back into it.
Yeah, because at first I was making YouTube videos, but when I was living at home, like my mum was kind of like, get a real job because I wasn't making enough money to. I wasn't making enough money for it to be
In
viable.
the middle of your video, your mum's like, shut up.
Nice voice, Zach.
No one's going to listen to you.
It's a good throwback.
No, it was nowhere near like that.
No, your
But,
mum's
like-
really nice.
That was when I didn't really have a proper job and I was like doing YouTube in my spare time. But then I wasn't really making an effort to get a job either because I was like, oh, I'm making a little bit off YouTube. Like, I don't
Yeah.
need to get a job. And mum was like, this guy's fucking ruining his
I
life.
feel like it also was important. This is the time while you were failing uni units.
Well, okay.
Context and backup
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Zach's
yeah.
mum.
That does make, it's kind of important.
But no, now my mom's my biggest supporter. It was just like moving out of home and then being like, oh, now that I have a real job, let me try doing YouTube on the side. And then eventually YouTube just became like better than my actual job in terms of enjoyment and in terms of money. So then I quit my bone scanning job and did YouTube right up until now. I feel like
Nice.
that's kind of where we
Everyone
ended up.
leaving out the Smash tournament moments, like that wasn't
Oh,
the most
yeah.
Because
important
it doesn't
part
actually
of your
matter to
life.
us, unlike you.
Yeah. We all hate Smash tournaments now.
Why don't you just talk up how good we were at running Smash tournaments in your life
True,
story? Because it
true.
mattered to you.
True. Should I have my life story?
I feel
or
like mine's
with
too similar to
questions?
Zach, so I won't go after that. Oh, yeah. Questions
Yeah.
for Zach. Question time.
Was your mum a fair critic
Of my videos.
at the beginning,
Of your life.
Of your lifestyle.
looking back on it?
Yeah. I feel like if you could look into the future and see that I would become successful. Then again, I did have like 100,000 subscribers at the time. So I think my mum definitely was unfair in not realizing how good that was for YouTube.
Underestimated you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's very hard for someone that knows nothing about YouTube to like,
To understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm not making like that much money off it
Yeah.
at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you were mainly making montages? So they were like
Yeah.
not as much money
They were all demonetized.
compared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were
that
they really?
makes sense.
My commentaries weren't. Excellent Easter. That's what was
Oh.
raking in the couple $100 a month.
I have a similar experience with like my parents. They're already very supportive, but like my dad doesn't really get it, but he just explains it to it. Like if people ask what I do, he's just like, oh, he's got his own business. It's good. He makes a reasonable amount of it, so that's pretty much all I need to know.
All right, I guess.
That's really funny. And it's like, what does he do? What's his business? I don't want to fucking know that shit.
Who knows?
He works for Google. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Employee at
Google.
Google.
Well, I was just born in Perth. And
C-section or
Yeah,
natural?
natural, I'm pretty sure.
Good on ya.
Natty.
Keep it up.
Natty
Every
boy.
question is more like birth related. Circumcised?
Actually,
Yes.
I do want to know that. I'm keeping a journal. We can cut it out.
I was born in Perth.
Circumcised or not?
Keep going. Reveal at 1 mil. Get me to 1 mil subs.
Dick reveal.
No, just
No, just foreskin.
skin
So I
reveal.
was born in Perth. Can I hang out?
And your mum said, keep the scissors away, Doc.
Exactly.
We'll use the soap. It's fine.
We'll teach the boy
I
to
feel
clean.
like it was pretty stock standard for a while.
Your life or your...
My life. My life.
for a while.
My life. Played football, AFL. It's
Yep.
like the Australian football. I just remember being very bored as a kid. I don't know if you guys had the same thing, but I just remember being bored all the time. I legit remember like looking at the clock, being like waiting for like, oh, I've got this thing in 3 hours. I'm just looking at the clock. And I used to just make up games. Like I would play, this is before I found out video games is kind of what I'm getting at. It's like I would just play imaginary stuff in the backyard all the time.
Didn't you play with your siblings and stuff? You have like
I would play
two
with
sisters?
siblings. Yeah, I have 2 younger sisters,
Yeah.
but they always weren't down to
To game.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would be like, I remember I set up, so I wrote out every team in the AFL and I pretended that I was all those teams and I'm just in the backyard playing and I'm like, okay, this guy kicks it and then I'm this guy now and then I throw the ball up.
Oh,
and
I would do kind of
I
that
try
with
and
like
catch
cricket
it.
a bit.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I did that full on. I'm like, oh, go for the tackle. And then,
So you're being like 40 people at once on
yeah,
both teams.
exactly.
And
That's
every
impressive.
team as well.
I thought this was a secret that no one knew up until like a few dinner nights ago. And then my mum just said she used to just watch me out there. And because we had a kitchen window and she's just looking at me like, toss up a ball, run over here, catch the ball. Like,
Did you not think to give you any toys or like anything?
No, well, I did have toys, and that's like
had a ball.
I would have a lightsaber. I'd pretend to be Star Wars.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sets
Jedi
up
and
a
the Sith.
ball of string on a pole, and she's like, "There you go, Jordan. He has hours of fun."
Did you not? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I was.
Did you have friends?
Yeah, but I don't know. I was just bored. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess. I mean, you can't always hang out with your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that like what you were looking forward to when you said you were always looking at the clock?
Yeah, like hanging out with a friend
Yeah.
or something. Also, you hang out with your friends so little when you. It was like after school, like school finishes at like 3:30, and then I would get picked up at 5.
Yeah,
and
well,
that used to be so long in my head, but
That's
that's
where
like
you-
nothing.
I had like a friend on my street who I didn't really like, but it was just someone who I could hang out with
what else?
after
Yeah,
school.
what else are you gonna do?
He's
Yeah.
watching this right now, and
Yeah,
and
shout outs to. There was
really
actually 2 people, so it
shattered.
could be either of them. Actually, I didn't like either of them.
Throw away your one ticket of anonymity.
But like, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, you just hang out with them because there's nothing better to do. But if, yeah, I see where you come from.
Yeah, I'd hang out with my sisters a lot too, and like try and make up games that get them to play, like make a board game, or I don't know. I would just make up so many games, and then my parents got divorced, and my dad let me play video games, but my mum wouldn't really.
Oh,
then-
That's a
Hell
point for Dad. Let's
Yeah,
go, Dad.
Hell yeah.
I would play games so much. I was probably full on addicted to games. I just like
What was your favorite game? Do you remember? Like your first game, you were like, "This is the best."
like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
How old were you?
Whoa.
I must have been like 11.
Let's go, Dad.
or something.
No wonder Mum didn't let you play.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah,
dude, that was a,
whoops.
that's a
That's
good,
such a dad vibe.
yeah, that was a good game though. Let
Oh,
me
you're
tell
gonna see
you.
the titties eventually, son. Jump on.
That's
Oh,
Sarah
and
the
it
Birds and the
stuck
Bees
with
talk.
him.
Jordan's
Yeah.
first dead prostitute puts it on the fridge.
This is his way of trying to get out of the Birds and the Bees talk. He just gives you
GTA teachers can do anything he needs to know.
He's like, that'll do. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, I'd play games a lot, and then
Son, you can pay women for this stuff. Sorry, Jordan.
Jordan's life story is my favorite so far, just for the record.
I don't even know what I'm up to now. So then, primary school, pretty
Pretty standard. Bit of
stock
GTA on
standard.
weekends.
I was actually like a good kid in primary school. Like, I would try hard. Was this similar for you? Like, you know how you said you got lazy at uni? Were you like really good in primary school?
Primary school, barely. I think primary school like coasted. High school like coasted, but with a little bit more work. And uni, I was like, oh shit.
Completely shat the
That's
bed.
kind
That's just like
Yeah.
that's such a common thing of like people just being good at like that. Same thing happened to me as well. You're just like good at primary school, good at high school. Like, you start to do a little bit of work,
It gets to the
Yeah.
point
and
where
then
you
uni, it's
can't-
like, oh, you actually have to do some shit. And you're
You
like,
don't
wait, what?
learn the study
What?
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like high school. I'm like, oh, I'm pretty good. I'll study for like 2 hours for the final exam.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
uni comes around and it's like, oh
Just
no.
shoots you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a similar situation. So I was like really good in primary school. And then my dad moved to Mandurah. And so I moved with him so I could play game. Nah. So
That's the reason though.
I
let's be
moved
honest.
with him. And then, so Mandurah is kind of like a
Wait,
bit.
did your sisters move with you?
No.
Or they stay with your mum?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So
That's a big yikes.
Gender divide.
gender divide, yeah. No, me and my mum, we would get in lots of fights about, I don't know, all kinds of random stuff.
Dad lets me play GTA.
That's a good kid voice. I was impressed. That's just
My
his
balls
kid
never
voice.
actually dropped.
I've been doing a fake voice this whole
I've been
time.
pretending my voice is lower this
I
whole
had 16
time.
years of practice with that voice. Don't worry
Finally
about it.
came out. No, we would clash a lot. So we used to be like week and week, and then it got to the point where it was just like, I'm just going to live with dad now.
What
'Cause
are
we
you clashing about? Like just one example.
I can't remember. I feel like
Because your mum,
I
well,
would've
I've only
been
met her a few
little.
times, but she's
It's
so
not really
lovely.
about anything, is it?
I honestly can't remember.
Do you look back at it and you're like, mum was silly, or like, oh man, I was such a
I
shit
did think
kid.
she was silly.
No, but now, like looking back on it.
Oh, well, I can't remember what the things were,
Oh, okay.
honestly.
Oh no, I think I was a shitter.
Yeah, that's
Like-
what I was gonna like. Do you think your mum was like wrong, or you were wrong?
I can't remember what the things were. 'cause I would have been
it's
like
hard to know.
too young. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was. But so then I was just like, I'm going to live with dad now. And then I ended up moving to Mandurah, which is like south of Perth, like kind of a town, but it's not that far.
Like an hour.
Yeah, like an hour
Yeah.
drive. But it's like, I don't know. It's just like the school I went to, it was way worse than anything I went to up here. It was kind of like, so let's just say on the I think it was the first day, it was like the class I was in just like had a riot against the teacher. It was one of the examples of like the bad stuff that happened at this school. It was like, I don't know, they just like started throwing the chairs, like standing on the desk, like, we don't want to do any work. And then I'm just sitting there like, what is happening around here?
Pretty good organization skills though, like organizing that.
Yeah, well, they're like 3, 2, 1, or just like walk in and start tearing
Have
shit
you,
up.
have you saw Revolution? It's pretty hard work.
Yeah.
It kind of just happened. There were fights all the time, but no one would care. Like, I feel like in my other school, like if there was a fight, everyone's like, oh, there's a fight.
It was hype.
This school, I'd be like walking to my next class and then 2 people are just beating each other on the floor. And I'm like, okay, no one cares. So I ended up getting pretty lazy after going to this school for a while because it was like that thing where you can coast if you're good, but like to the extreme. Like everyone's like, oh, you're so smart. And I'm just doing nothing, getting like 70% in tests, 76% in a math test. I got an award at the school. It was like not good. So then I ended up just being really lazy and my dad was like, we need to move back to Perth because this is trash. So then,
What school was this? Was it like a public school? Or like-
yeah.
Yeah.
I only ever went to public school though.
Yeah, me too.
But then what happened?
When did you play Smash
Yeah,
for the
let's get
first
into
time?
Smash. I think it was year 12 actually. So right before I finished high school, I would play Smash like Brawl, like really casually, and then Smash for what was after? Oh no, Smash
Smash
Brawl
on 3DS.
I was just way worse than all my friends. Then Smash 3DS came out. I never played that. Wii U, I would go to my friends and play it at theirs, but I didn't actually have the game, and they were still all better than me. So I was like, damn, I want to get good. So then I've talked about this before, I think, on lots of Underdogs videos, but I like watched tutorials and then got better. And then I was like, oh, guys, there's tournaments. Let's all go to a tournament. And so then we all went to our first tournament, Cafe Myriad in the city, which
Iconic.
is iconic.
That was our first tournament as well.
Yeah.
That was like,
Me too.
describe the setting.
It's like a tiny board game shop that definitely cannot fit more than like 30 people without it being...
30 is too many.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
cannot describe it. Like,
the 80-man tournament at
Oh.
Cafe
you
Myriad.
could not move.
They had to
Was an
move
iconic
the
event.
bookshelves out of the way and stuff so that we could all fit there.
How many square meters doesn't really apply, but square feet, I guess.
Oh, it's
We
like
probably
square
would've
meters
had
is
like-
probably like it's probably like what, like 10 by 5 or like
That's not very big.
it's tiny.
It was
Yeah.
It's like
very
the size
small.
of this living room. Like that's
That
not a
81
joke.
person tournament, you were
this room's
next
bigger,
to each other.
I think.
Not COVID approved.
No.
I'll tell you that.
So we went
Yeah.
to that tournament. My friend beat me and knocked me out of that tournament. I never had the moment where I was better than my friends and I was like, oh, I'm so good, I'll go to a tournament. And then I'm like, oh, I'm not that good. It was like, oh, I'm not that good. My friend beat me at my tournament as well.
Getting matched into your friend at the tournament is so rough.
Yeah,
It's been a bad seating.
In losers bracket, I copped him. He plays Zelda. Still losing the Zelda.
Did you guys ban Little Mac at home? Was that you?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But that's I think we banned Little Mac and like Shulk because we didn't know how to beat Shulk's down smash where he spins around. We're like, that's clearly broken.
So Little Mac was broken and Shulk down smash was broken. So you guys didn't have a jump button, basically, is what you're saying.
yes, definitely.
Right.
So then I don't know. I kept playing a lot, watching videos a lot. I just really got into it. I like got.
Dare I
pretty-
say it became your life?
Yes, I got pretty. It was when I really got good was when I had year 12 exams, and I was like, if I'm ever not studying, I'll only procrastinate by playing Smash Bros. Because then it's still kind of productive. And then I played a lot of Smash Bros.
Dude, that would get me to study so much. I'd play Elite Smash for 1 hour. I'd be like, fuck, give me
No,
the
well, this
calculus.
was
But now, when it was fresh, it was so
3D.
exciting.
This was all I had was 3DS Smash, and I would just play against computers.
Wow.
And then what I ended up eventually doing was on Twitch, people would have like, viewer tournament. And so I would like wake up at like 3 or 4 a.m. because that's when the Americans would have their tournaments. And then I would like look up on Twitch and then I would just join tournaments. And it was so laggy.
Did you bring the lag, Cario?
I'm just with my Wi-Fi 3DS in Australia versus Americans, just
man.
spamming Neutral B with Lucario.
No wired connection on that 3DS. No, sir.
No.
Wouldn't matter.
And then I still remember the first ever thing I won is I won one of those tournaments and I got like $10 or $20 on Steam. And I was like, yes. And then
He's got a taste for it. Watch out, Perth.
I kept playing. Eventually I bought a Wii U and I was like, this might have been a big waste of money because I didn't have any job or anything at this point. In like year 8, I was like, my life goal is to never have a job, like a real job.
What was the plan there?
Well, that was the plan.
Become
Peter.
homeless?
The plan was
Live
to
off
never
the
have a
grid.
real
Do you
job.
think Your Wii U ended up being the biggest return on investment that you've ever bought.
Yes.
Surely, right?
Definitely.
How much money do you think you've made from all the tournaments you've won?
Oh, I don't know.
Huge stocks.
I don't even know how to guess.
Over 5,000?
Maybe. Oh, it's been so long. It probably
I reckon it was
around
over
it.
5,000.
And
Yeah.
Jordan's won a lot of tournaments.
I was
for
going to
those
say
that
up
don't
to
know.
like 10.
Probably, yeah.
Closer
like
to 10
100
than
a
5.
tournament. You've got like 250
Not
tournaments.
100 a tournament. Maybe near the
Sometimes.
start, yeah. Anyways, yeah. This was before I was like the best or anything in our state. But then the tournament after that was our first major tournament where people flew over and stuff. Do you remember that? It was
Dyad.
Yeah, DI another day at like a Curtin University.
Yes.
And I was not seeded to make it out of pools at that tournament, but then I ended up randomly doing very well. Like I made it out of pools and then I was up against, because I was like the worst seed out of pools, so I was up against the best player in Australia, which was Earl. I don't know if you guys remember
you
this.
creamed
I remember
him.
this very clearly.
Yeah.
I
This
versed
is-
him and I was like, oh, I've got no chance. And I still remember it because I guess it must have been such a big moment in my life. But he just beat me game 1, I think. And then game 2, he was just beating me again. I'm like, my only chance is just to pop a rocket myself into him. So I just did it completely random in neutral. And then it hit and killed him. And then I just got all the momentum in the world. It was like unbelievable. And then I took his next stock because it was only 2 stock matches in.
Fuck, Smash 4 sucked.
And then I beat him. And then I remember like everyone came around and like lifted me up. And they're like, yeah, pop it. And I was like, oh shit.
No, that was super hype. I remember that
Yeah.
very well.
Very clearly.
So I did that. I beat him. And then I went on and I beat, I don't know, I ended up coming 3rd at that tournament, which was very good. Considering it was like out of state people came over and I was
Perth's bad.
and Perth is bad. I wasn't supposed to make it out of pools. And then ever since then I was like,
That was
oh
the
yeah,
start of
that
it
was the
all.
start of it all. And then that was the first time I actually like made money off anything in my life as well. Because I never had a job at this point.
Hey, 10 to 20 bucks on Steam for that viewer.
Oh, true,
that
true.
viewer
That wasn't
tournament.
cash.
So then I just kept the grind going, I guess. Eventually became the best after like a year. And then I stayed the best in our state for like,
A long time.
You know what the worst part is? You
A
could have
long
never
time.
had a real job.
well, I
Like-
haven't really.
You've had a few things on the side, but like you never had to take those jobs to survive. You could have just gone from Smash to YouTube
Yeah.
and never had.
You're saying all your
any
side
other
hustles
job.
are ruining your story.
I would say my side hustles are not real jobs.
Okay.
What are they, like delivering mail?
I once a week walk for 2 hours and put letters in people's mailboxes
Yeah, I don't
and
know if
like
that-
listen to a podcast.
yeah.
And then the other is I'm a carer for someone with special needs, but all we really do is like play basketball and like I don't know, play tennis or
That's pretty hard.
I feel like
something.
it's a bit rude to say it's not a real job.
Well,
Those
It
are
doesn't
real
feel
jobs.
like work
it doesn't
because he
feel
loves
like
it.
work. Yeah.
Oh.
Saved you.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of been my life story. I started doing
What about
YouTube.
As soon as Smash hits, there's nothing else of relevance. What about all those tournaments you went to run by some really good tournament organizers
Oh yeah, those were the
who
best.
forgot to talk about it in their life stories?
What
Didn't even
happened?
come
How
up
did
with
you start? I feel like I've been talking for so long.
I
So
went to
I've-
the first Big Win Smash tournament. I remember it.
I don't really remember it.
It was in like a little tiny outside
I do
room.
remember
It's
that.
actually a
No,
pretty
but why
funny
did it
story.
start?
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
funny story.
You got to shout out Courtney, right?
Yeah, Courtney's been on your.
Yeah, she's been on your
Yeah,
channel.
she was in Everyone vs. Bowser
So-
on my YouTube channel.
She and I ran the first one.
But the story was very funny how it came about. There was this tournament and they ran like, what were they doing? They only did Smash Ultimate on like every second
Oh,
week.
yeah. They,
Smash
so
4,
like-
not Smash Ultimate.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Smash. So they were
Our
running Smash 4
Perth scene at the
tournaments.
time was very obsessed with the old games, which were much less popular, and would just like use Smash 4 to make money, basically.
But the tournament organizers
Yeah.
were like, we're not going to have Smash 4 every week from now on. We're going to do Smash 4 one week, then Melee the next week, then Smash 4 one week. And so basically went from weekly to fortnightly. And then we were like kind of arguing like Smash 4 makes way more money. Like, why would you only do it every second week? And they were like, if you don't like it, make your own tournament. So you guys literally did.
Yeah,
Jackson
I mean,
and
that's
Courtney
pretty much
started
it.
up Big Win Smash.
Yeah.
I joined a little bit later on as running. I mainly ran the stream.
Yeah.
Jackson was like big picture organizing tournaments.
the big fella.
I think it was funny at the start because I think Courtney wanted to do it. And she asked you to join it, and she was like, and you were like, "Yeah, only if we name it after me."
That's a good meme.
And then, like, nobody remembers her from coming up with
Yeah,
it because you
yeah.
put your
That's
name on it.
pretty grim.
It was a good play, honestly, by
Yeah,
Jackson.
that's
here.
called getting famous, kids.
The best part was the first one was called Big Win Beer's Smash Extravaganza.
BWBSE.
Yeah, that's the good old days. That's the when Smash 4 was fun.
We rebranded to Big Win Smash.
Yeah.
Probably ran like 50 Big Win Smashes for Smash 4. And we did
Yeah.
a few big tournaments called Big Win Championship. And
Yeah.
those are some of my favorite tournaments
For
of
sure.
all time.
Very good tournaments.
Some of my favorite ones to commentate as well. They were good.
That was some good times. I didn't talk about Smash commentating either. But anyway,
Oh, well, guess you forgot your entire life.
I mean, it really wasn't too much of my life, but that's fine.
Rough.
Yeah, anything since then? Did you do anything at uni?
Oh,
did, right?
Yeah.
You're still doing it.
I didn't talk about uni at all. Hey. So when I left high school, I was like, oh, I like playing video games. I'll make video games.
Classic
Not
trap.
good.
So
Not
boring.
good.
It's like doing English is pretty much what you're doing. You're just learning another language and you're just typing it out for the rest of your life. No offense if you do programming.
Offense.
It was not for me. I was just like, this is not what I was expecting.
Oh, I reckon it's super interesting. It's actually just really hard and probably not what you're imagining when you're thinking,
Yeah.
design games.
It just wasn't what I was imagining.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty much the main thing. And then
So funny to think about what you are imagining. Like, you just like open a computer program and you're like, okay, this dragon, he's going to be the character. And it's like, boop, and it's like all moving, working model.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're like, I want the dragon to shoot fire. And then you like click a shoot fire button and it's like, like that's
it's
what
like
you're probably
a drop down
imagining.
menu, open world. Duh.
legit,
Yes.
legit what I was thinking.
Have you ever used Game Maker, the program?
Yeah, I love Game Maker.
That's how you make games, bro.
So then I was like, I'm leaving this, and then I did primary teaching, which was always my second pick. I remember even in year 4 being like, oh, I'd love to just be the teacher. I don't know why. I think I just really enjoyed the like idea of like helping someone, because I was doing pretty good in primary school. So then the teacher would be like, oh, I'd help this kid, and then I would like help them, and I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm sick. And
I'm
then
a
like
helper.
you've just learned something. I feel like I've got a knack for breaking things down to the simplest level, if that makes sense.
Why'd you stop making mind off
definitely do.
videos then? Stopped making Smash tutorials because they didn't make enough money.
I ran out of things to talk about. But so I just like that idea of breaking something down to as simple as possible and then helping someone learn from it. So then teaching, and then I'm still doing teaching, but I went part-time on that so I could do more YouTube.
That's the
YouTube.
backup when YouTube goes kaput.
Yeah, for sure.
Should we move along?
Yes.
My turn.
Hey.
This turn.
I too was born, but I have a birth story.
Ooh.
Not only was I born, but my mum didn't have any anesthetic when I was born.
Wild
She just
woman.
didn't give a shit, which is pretty yikes.
That's
So lots
pretty
of people
My
get,
mum
like,
did the same as well. actually.
epidurals and stuff,
Yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like it's a blocking your spine. But my mum's a midwife, so I feel like,
Same.
hey, yo,
Midwife mums.
I was
Wait,
going to
what does
ask
that
if that
mean?
was related. Like,
Midwife
was
who
she a
deliver
midwife
the
already?
baby.
Yeah, she
Do they
was.
know something we don't? Why do they not want it?
They're probably just like experienced with the
They know the
experience.
process.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
way
But
better
then
way of putting
imagine you're a midwife, you're watching someone else give birth, and you're like, oh, something's such a wuss. I did this with no aesthetic, where to give you the highest ground of all
Damn.
time for the rest of your life. So I feel like
True.
that's a good play.
it. Yeah.
Anyway, normal-ish childhood. I mean, I don't really remember anything super early on. The first thing I do remember specifically is in pre-primary. I guess I don't remember it, but they came to my school and they took a video of our primary school class, and they put it on VHS, and it was just like our day in pre-primary, blah blah blah.
I had one of those like year 5. They're cool.
Yeah. And I was watching it back and I was like, man, I was so stupid compared to all these other kids because like I was my birthday's in December, so I was very young, and like the difference between 4 and 5 is very big compared
It's
to the difference
huge.
between like
When you-
20 and 21, right?
When you're young, yeah.
When
for
you're
sure.
little. So like all the kids around me were so much older and more developmentally. And there's this part where they're like, and clap your hands and turn around, and the whole class is doing it. And then like they all do it, and I just keep turning. Like I'm just still going, and everyone else stops and sits down. And I'm just watching it back. I'm like, what are you doing, Peter?
You guys are telling me to stop, right?
Stop turning, idiot! Like, I'm just raging at my TV at home at this VHS because, like, yeah, I don't know why I remember that specifically, but like, I was a lot younger and smaller than the other kids, so that was like a bit of a running theme through my whole like school life type stuff. Primary school was pretty chill. did the same thing as Jackson with doing a lot of different sports, just like for
Yeah.
one season or something.
Getting
So
jacked.
gave most things a go. Getting jacked.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I was tiny and really bad at sport. Just because the height difference is crazy. with
Yeah, it
kids.
makes such a big difference.
Yeah, like just the athletic ability. Because when you're an adult, you're not on level playing ground, but it's closer.
Oh, much closer.
You used to be very short.
Yeah.
Like up until mid high school. So
Oh, like
I can
late
only
high
imagine
school?
primary school
Yeah,
was
late
like
high school.
Yeah, it didn't have a growth
Me
spurt
too,
until like
man.
year 11 or 12, which is
Me
big
too,
yikes.
actually, as well.
Really?
Late.
yeah, 2 feet in 1 year. I've heard the
Yeah,
story about
something like that.
what Jackson
That's
grew.
hectic.
It's insane.
Yeah, I think
Did
I
you
was
just get the
tiny.
biggest stretch
I can't
marks?
remember how much. Yeah, it was terrible. I was
Yeah.
so sore, bad stretch marks.
Dang.
you have like a bad back now.
Yeah. It's also because I sit like this. But
Yeah, true.
Being tall sounds so good, and then you're just like, man,
no, being tall sucks.
really?
This is your life story.
No.
Gary.
Tell us about being
Nah,
tall.
no.
This is
Being
important.
tall is when I'm walking with people, I like kind of hunch down to talk to them a bit. It's like you're sitting at a table, you kind of like you don't want to be sitting above everyone. It just feels weird. You can't fly. And Nick, you'll understand.
What, you
a lot
can't
of
fly?
Or like plane seats are uncomfortable.
Yeah,
'cause they-
I
Oh,
literally-
dude, I was so confused.
I
none of
literally-
us can fly, mate. That's not
Oh.
short people don't just sprout wings.
I would have been killed to be tall for basketball.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
You think it's good?
As someone who's been tall my entire life, I love being tall.
Nick came out of the womb 6 feet.
literally like this, dragged him out.
He was like a clown, like handkerchiefs.
Kept going.
Nick's mum got an epidural halfway through. This shit's fucked.
They didn't tell me about this.
After
What do you
first
like
3
about being
feet, she was
tall?
like, give me the epidural.
What do you like about being tall?
I don't know. It's some
Chick
kind of
magnet.
superiority. I can't say the
Okay,
word.
no.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'2"
Oh yeah.
or 6'1".
Yeah.
You call that
But
tall?
in,
says Jackson.
in high school, I was like not much shorter than I am now.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
Being tall in high school's sick.
Being tall, you wouldn't think of like problems that short people might have. It's just girls, actually. That's the only problem with being
Basically,
short.
girls are like me.
It's
But it's
true.
like-
Some females like taller men.
But then I've never been rejected by a girl for being short. Just every other reason.
I have.
Have you?
Do you want me to tell it? I'll tell that story. That's really funny.
All right, let's hear
Anyway,
it.
that's a bit later on in my life. It is an iconic moment though. Oh, let me get to it, Nick. When I was 5, I got a Game Boy Color with Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Yellow.
Nice.
And then I played the crap out of that on weekends. And like that was just like what I looked forward to on weekends so much. And I had like 400 hours in Pokemon Silver.
Wow.
I'd finished the game well and truly in like 30, maybe like 50 because I
Yeah.
sucked because I was a kid. But like I just vibed out in my game for so long. I didn't do anything, but that was just where it started for the video games thing and the Nintendo thing, which has kind of been a running theme over time. Moving to high school was kind of hard because like I said, none of my friends were with me and it's like a time where you have to try and find your place. You have a fresh start and you have to find a new group.
Yeah.
I don't know if do you guys experience this?
Yeah.
I kind of, yeah. I had that where it's like, I did have some friends and I was like, screw you, I'm leaving to be in this cool group.
Wow.
And then I was like, what am I doing?
Being in the cool group sounds good, but it's really not.
Yeah.
It's actually trash because
Then
they're
I was-
usually bad people.
Yeah, then I was like, nah, nerd all the way.
Yeah, like when I first went to high school, I didn't know anyone. Like one person from my primary school went to my high school, and I didn't really know him that well
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
So it wasn't like I was going to be friends with him. And I kind of fell somehow into the group of the year older Darrow group. We say Darrow, it's like an Australian term. It's like
Is
the
it? Yeah.
cool kids, but they're kind of dickheads. And
Derelict is a
Dropkick?
word.
Derelict, yeah, they're usually not very smart.
Drugs,
Drugs,
smoking.
smoking. Not that bad because this was like year 9.
Oh, for me, it was
just like
that bad.
fights and that kind of group. You know what I'm talking about. So I somehow fell into that group of the year older, which is very not my vibe. And it never was, but I was like, I guess this is my group now. I guess I'm one of the cool kids. I think I was part of that for maybe 6 weeks of year 8 before I was like, this is cooked. Like, this sucks.
Yeah.
They're just not nice people. Anyway, found our group eventually, which was with Zach. We'll get to the being too short story.
I want to hear this.
Yeah.
Just for Nick's benefit because
I
he
love
seems
it.
to love it. So like I was super close with a female friend and like just like as friends at the time. But like obviously I started liking her over time because that's just seems to be what happens
Hormones.
when you're a teenager.
For sure. It's
Like-
very common.
Yeah.
Horny teenager.
Because I feel like a lot of girls will be happy to like, yeah, I have this really close guy friends. But a lot of the time, the guy is not
guy
happy
just like,
with it.
please,
date me.
Date me.
Whether they admit it or not, I feel like that often happens.
Yep.
It's not impossible. Obviously, there are definitely platonic
I think
friendships.
especially though, it's very likely when it's like 15-year-olds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So then, like, we're super tight friends, and so I was like, you know what? Like, we get along so well. I've got to ask her on a date.
What was her name? Because I actually don't know who you're talking about.
I don't really want to expose her.
Just first name, because then I'll know, but no one will.
The story will end and you'll know who it is.
Yeah.
Okay, sure thing.
Anyway,
I won't. That's fine.
went to like the park after school, which is something we do because we just hang out and stuff.
Chill.
And then I asked her, and then she basically was like, "No, I don't want to ruin our really good friendship." And I was like, "You know what? That's a pretty good reason. Like,
Yep.
shit happens." And then it was kind of like awkward because we're at this park alone. And it's
Yep.
like, where do we go from here?
Okay.
Like, we're still here.
Yep.
And so we're still hanging out for a bit, which is like a bit weird. Normally you'd be like, no, and you're like, well, I'm going to go off and have my own time, but we couldn't.
Cry.
Cry. So I was like, oh, I guess so. And then just for absolutely no reason, I did not ask. It was maybe like 10 minutes later of awkwardness. She was like, you know what? I probably would have said yes if you were taller though.
Oh.
And I was just like,
savage.
bruh, like that is not necessary. Like,
Unsolicited comments.
yeah, absolutely. Like, I was happy with believing in the friend zone. By the way, guys, the friend zone is such a lie. Can anyone back me up on this one?
Yeah.
What
I
do
feel
you
like
mean?
pretty much all of my relationships or like things, intimate things, have come from being friends first.
And like people say, I don't want to ruin this friendship, but like I think it's more just like I don't see us being compatible
yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Because if you were compatible that way, and a lot of the time it's because they don't find you attractive. Sorry to
Not me.
be
Never happened to
cynical.
me, but
Yeah, never
anyway.
happened to you.
Am I right, Phil?
But like I respect because I wasn't tall, I wasn't very old looking, whatever. She was like a taller looking girl. It's fair enough. To
yeah,
not be
girls in
attracted to
particular
someone.
when you're in high school look way older.
Yeah.
Because they go through puberty first.
It's definitely 100% fair enough to not be attracted to someone, but it's always the classic we're two good friends, which is a really nice way of letting someone down.
Yeah.
But I don't believe it basically.
Oh, I think it can be a thing.
I think it can as well.
But I think that you just be friends and then eventually it'll turn into something if it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Depends
Which is
on
what I
how,
was
like-
trying to do.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Depends on how sure of it you are. Because if you're unsure, you don't want to ruin the friendship.
He said it depends on how short you are.
5 feet or
foot
lower.
never ask.
That's so funny. Yeah, it definitely depends on how short you are. That's right.
And it's funny because it ends up, this is someone that we've stayed in contact with because I wasn't super good friends with them, but then Nick was.
Right.
And then we've kind of like been hanging out a bit recently, going out together and
Oh,
stuff.
I know who it is.
And then
Oh, I don't.
It all checks out.
it's a pretty good story.
Yeah.
We're in the outside group.
Also,
Nah,
that's,
to be on her side a little bit, she is fairly tall.
She was pretty tall, especially at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's
I don't
so
blame her for it. I don't
Yeah.
hold it. And because I'm so like over it, obviously, that's
Well,
like
yeah,
I'm
you'd
holding
hope
a
so,
grudge. I was like, what? We're hanging out this one time, and I was like, wasn't that funny? And she was like, oh, I forgot about that. And then apparently thought it was super weird that I brought it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Are
Yeah,
you
that
kidding
is-
me?
She told
that's
me
weird
afterwards.
that she thought that was weird.
She thought that you're still salty about it.
I don't know
Nah,
much
you gotta
about
be-
that. I don't know. I wasn't there, but that's big weird vibes from her.
You got to be able to laugh about
Yeah,
that sort of
exactly.
thing. It's
Yeah.
fucking high school. Like,
Yeah, it was literally 10 years ago. Like, relax.
I mean, I don't know how you said it. Granted,
I go home every day and I put myself on my stretching rack and just think about her, like, pulling my bones out of their sockets.
you've got your like dartboard with her face on it. Anyway,
I
sorry.
feel like we got way more into video games after we got school laptops, which was a big mistake by the school.
Is this where TF2 came from for you
Yeah,
guys?
Yeah.
TF2
Okay.
big time because it was one of the only games that was not only free, but our computers could kind of run it because they were like kind of like
Oh, that's
they weren't super
insane.
powerful. You weren't meant to be able to install games on these laptops, and because they had like all this admin privileges and stuff on them where you couldn't do anything like that. And then one day, this is such a fail by our school IT department. One person got their laptop repaired by the school, and then when he gave it back, it was in like standby mode. They open it, and there's a document, like a notepad on the screen
Oh,
with the
how to do it?
admin username and password on it.
Oh,
And not only was it the admin username and password, it was the admin username and password for every school laptop in the whole school.
So one person basically had the Bible for like,
Yeah, and it wasn't even
Amazing.
like, and so all you had to do was put that into your school laptop, and then you could make yourself an admin. Like you couldn't remove the program, but then you made yourself an admin
So then
and then
you could just
removed
do whatever you
everything.
want. Yeah.
And you could
we
like,
were hackers. Hacker man.
sick.
basically.
it was so stupid. And so then we like all like downloaded games and removed
Oh.
like the
Yeah.
the spying software they used
Yeah,
so
yeah,
they
yeah.
could watch your screen in class.
Amazing.
Just remove all that stuff.
Oh,
you know,
I've
put
actually
your
got a
games
life
on.
hack for all the school kids out there who want a game.
Is this? Don't tell her.
Nah,
Study.
what you do
Study
is you go
instead.
onto
You study.
You are a good teacher.
go
Never
on to-
leak your name.
go
Study.
onto Google,
Study.
go onto Google Translate from English to English, and you can translate websites. and so you can just go on whatever website you want.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, so you use Google Translate as a proxy.
Yeah, Google Translate, because it translates whole sites.
That's so stupid.
So you just go
Interesting.
English to English. I'm translating, and then you can just go on YouTube or something.
You
But
heard it
don't
here
do
first
that if
from
you're
the
in my
future-
class, kids.
the future primary school teacher. That's where you heard it from first.
Yeah, good strat.
Classic.
Good strat.
But yeah, then we played so much TF2, and that's what really got me into playing games because I have over 3,000 hours in it, which is like actually cool.
Wow.
Like it's insane. And Zach, we played a lot together. Nick, we played a lot together.
I remember I was the one that introduced you guys to TF2, and then within like 2 months, you guys were better than me.
Yeah, we
And
had
I was
more
like,
hours.
Can't I just have this one thing?
Like I played competitively, and my team came like 4th in Australia and New Zealand and
Wow.
stuff. Like I was
Wait.
super into it.
Who's the best now?
Peter.
We probably don't play much anymore. Like it wouldn't really
Wouldn't even
hold up.
Know.
And so that got us into games. And then yeah, we got the 3DS with Smash. And I remember specifically teaching Zach how to grab. Like
Yeah, he did with Rob's down throw. He was like, look, if you press this combination of buttons, I was like, I didn't know what the grab button was. He was like, you got to press grab, then down. And I was like, whoa. And then he's like, you can bury, and he's like, blah, 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 and puts them in the ground. And it was so funny. Rob's down throw,
because you
like,
pause and move the camera around, and their face in the ground
Yeah.
under the ground looks so funny. And that's why I learned how to grab people, just to look at the
Oh, wow,
the
that's
in
funny.
pain faces of being buried by Rob.
Amazing.
Help! I'm stuck in this hole.
Step Rob, help me.
make that joke.
That's so wrong.
That's so right.
And then did the same thing of wanting to go to tournaments, getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got as good as you guys, but I did
You
get more into
definitely,
commentary.
you just like don't like playing competitively.
I don't like trying.
Pokemon.
Neither do I
Smash.
now.
Yeah, I didn't
Competitive
talk.
Smash sucks.
I didn't talk about it, but I've always been very competitive in terms of like, I don't know, I was competitive in school and then in basketball, and then Smash was like the first thing I was like, hey, I'm actually good at this thing as well.
Someone asked me on stream last night, they're like, would you ever consider speedrunning this game? And I was like, hell no.
Oh, I
Can
would
you
not do
imagine me
that.
speedrunning something?
Yeah,
Like
it'd be hard work.
I got sick of Smash because I had to try, but speedrunning is just trying to the max, is not.
It's just like also trying, but like repetitive trying. I couldn't do that.
Like I'm not in it for the grind, you know.
Yeah.
I can't grind any game like that. Smash least of all nowadays.
No,
Still
definitely.
enjoy playing it for fun, but it's just not the same as when it was fresh.
Yeah.
You were saying when you said fresh before, I was like, man, so true. I could play 8 hours at
Yeah,
friendlies.
I used to have people over and we just literally play all night long, and I just don't even know how I would do that now.
now.
Yeah, exactly. It was crazy. Just like that early phase. It's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, for some reason I'm still in that phase. Like I could still just go to someone's house and play friendlies till like 2 a.m. or something.
All right. I'm jealous of you.
Damn.
So yeah.
So what about uni?
school? Went to uni. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I'd done a lot of science and stuff. So I picked the most interesting looking science to me, which was zoology. So studying animals.
Chill.
Did that, and science communication, which is talking about science, which I think was useful because it kind of gave me presenting skills and all
Actually,
that
there's
stuff.
I don't know if
Videos.
they're still up at all, but the old
Yeah, they're
science videos.
unlisted.
Oh, are they?
I made some science videos. I'm not super proud of them, so I don't like show
Oh, I
them
used to
off
think
to
they were
anyone.
actually good.
Yeah, I
They were
like those
okay,
videos.
but they weren't really well researched, so you wouldn't really want it to be popular because it wasn't like
Oh, it wasn't
referenced and
completely
researched
factual.
and like
Not factual.
scientific.
Yeah.
Like I think everything in it was pretty much right, but I didn't really back it up.
Yeah.
And it came from a biased point of view, so I wouldn't be happy to
Yeah,
show it
makes
to
sense.
people.
Yeah.
I've always been making videos like that.
Yeah.
Started in the Pokemon Showdown days, changed to science, changed to flipping, changed to Smash, and then Smash started doing good. But yeah, I've never done anything with my uni degree, but you know, it was pretty chill.
He had that one YouTube series, Smash Moves, and what was it
Oh,
called?
the National Geographic
National
Smash
Geographic.
Bros. Elite Smash.
Yeah,
That
one of
was-
his best performing videos of all time.
Not true.
It's probably one of your best videos.
It's one of my best
Yeah.
videos, but it's also one of the worst performing
Yeah.
ones.
Can we do
I've
a
got a
call to
run of
action?
those.
Everyone go watch National Geographic.
Classic video.
What's it called?
I don't even remember. It was
Alright,
like
no,
The one that was
discovering
so
the
popular.
mysterious world of Smash Ultimate Online or something.
So
yeah,
good.
If you can find it, the YouTube algorithm will try to not let
Yeah.
you.
Did you
Also,
mean anything else?
if you want to see You Lose Your Rap 3, because Zach wants to see that,
Please,
please
make
watch
that.
it, because
Yeah.
the second one
Oh,
did
they're doing
shit.
bad as well.
Yeah, and it took me like 3 entire days of work to make it. I was like, I cannot be bothered.
Yeah.
Fair.
What
It's
were
just
all your
painful.
jobs?
Jobs. Oh man, I worked as like a waiter at a hotel.
Yeah.
Like working at functions for like 3.5 years.
Can I get a tier list? Job tier list? Where's that?
F tier, that one
Okay.
goes in. That one was ass. And it was my first job, so I didn't really know how much I didn't like it because I was like, I think I just don't like working.
Yeah,
like,
working. I wanna be-
Working sucks.
Same with me in supermarket.
You just wanted to not work.
Well, that was my life goal, but
Yeah.
I'd never worked before
Dude,
that.
you had it
So
worked
I,
out.
I still don't know what working is like.
So I did that from like 18 to maybe age like 21, 22. So like a long time
Yeah.
of doing that.
Oh, that is a long time. Yeah.
And then I quit that. And after I got my job at Bounce the Trampoline Park, which was, I was like, fuck, working is lit. Like,
Yeah.
they value me.
Yeah.
What? Like, I can have
I
fun.
like being
I
here.
can talk to people. Like,
Yeah.
Then he got a job at the
Wild.
Underdogs and no one valued him again.
yeah, back to the start. And then I had to quit that, unfortunately, but I got to do YouTube full time. And we didn't really talk about the birth of the channel, the Underdogs channel, because I feel like that's a pretty important one.
It's pretty crazy that particularly you and I are in it, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you two are like the close friends and both of you like live together at the time. So it's like pretty
I
interesting
feel like
that we
from
were
my
invited.
perspective was like, hey, come join the Underdogs. And I'm like, okay. Like you guys
I don't know
must
how
have-
Jackson got in. You at least had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I said, well, yeah.
Jackson
you have
was
a
just
YouTube
like-
channel.
Well, I think Zach just knew you were a funny guy and he
Yeah.
like thinks you have potential as a creator, which you obviously did.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. No, now you're fulfilling it, so it's not just have
I
potential.
suppose.
You are
Creating 4
in
videos.
it. Because like I remember me and Zach were just playing Smash Friendlies one day and just being generally stupid and going for dumb stuff and hitting hype stuff and just like being general dickheads and
Someone
friendlies.
would watch this.
And we were just like, man, this should be a video.
yeah.
We're like, why aren't we recording?
Yeah.
We're hilarious.
But it was like, why aren't we recording? Because we don't want to edit it. Life hack.
And that's where the
Pay for it.
that's
Yeah.
where Schlock shouts to Schlock.
And so we were like,
And the
we'll
rest.
and the other ones.
Schlock and the rest of the mystery gang.
But no, but Schlock has been there from the beginning.
And our
Yeah.
slave army.
Yeah.
KPTG. Check
Thank
him
you,
out as well.
KPTG.
Yep.
Yeah, Jackson does not do much behind the scenes action on the
No,
Underdogs.
I
He's a
replied to an
lucky boy.
email.
Nice.
Sick
Okay.
one, dude.
This isn't flex about how little you've contributed.
Yeah. Don't know how I got here. I don't actually do anything. When am I getting paid? Like,
Yeah, I just turn up and play games. Anyway, back to what were you talking
Should
about?
we move on from shitting on the YouTube channel everyone's watching? And
Yeah.
you're like,
I'm not shitting
was
on
that
it.
your, the end of
yeah,
your
and
life
then
story?
here we are. I'm gonna hit 200k subs probably today. That's,
That's
pretty
really
hype.
good.
Hey.
I'm
Why
gonna check
is it
my
on the
phone.
clock?
Nick,
The
let's
final
hear
life
it.
story.
Were you also born?
I was once born.
I was born.
I wasn't
they-
swear. I wasn't built in a lab. I promise. No, I was born in Perth, and then I grew up. The end. No, I can't remember much between like obviously being born and maybe 5 or 6.
That's same for me.
So like obviously went to primary school, went to like kindergarten and stuff. When I was 6, 2001, my parents decided to take the whole family on a year-long volunteering excursion to the Marshall Islands.
What
Whoa.
the hell does that mean?
This is just flexing on Zach's trip around Australia.
Yeah, all right.
Marshall
I had my
Islands.
fun.
They were
Year
volunteering
long.
over there. It's a third world country.
Where is it? Sorry?
It's in the Pacific.
Right.
So like north and east.
You're gonna have to be more Pacific.
It's like in the middle of the ocean. It's really hard to explain.
Right. It's like one of those, like, what's it near?
The Philippines, I
Okay,
guess,
yeah.
but
Cool.
not that close. It's
I thought
actually
you were pissed about that one.
it's an atoll of islands that's formed from a sunken volcano. So we're like living on the rim of a volcano.
Right.
Whoa.
That's cool.
And I remember that because the islands were like long. There was a road, ocean on one side, ocean on the other, and that's it. And we lived in a big pink house. And for this trip, my parents gave me and my sister Game Boy Colors.
Yeah, Game Boy Color gang.
I got
What was the game?
I got Donkey Kong Country, and my sister got Pokemon Red.
You got robbed.
Yeah, not gonna lie, that sounds.
Well,
much
that's what we
better
had
me.
for a year, so we played the shit out of both of those.
Oh, so you guys
games.
are like trade games, play each
Yeah,
other's?
like it wasn't like you play your game, I'll play mine.
Yeah, yeah.
We had like a level 100 Mr. Mime. That's how much we played Pokemon Red.
Of all the Pokemon.
It was the one that you get from the trade as well, Miles.
That's how you're so
Miles.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Your favorite Pokemon was Mr. Mime.
Anyway, I remember the day that I deleted that save file and my sister cried.
Pretty
And I was
sad.
like, no,
How
we'll
old's
just
your
get
sister?
another. Hey?
How old is your sister?
She's 2 years older than me.
Older
so
than you, okay, yep.
27, yeah. And then we were there when obviously 9/11 happened. And that was like right before we were about to come home. So the plane tickets just went like crazy expensive. And it was actually cheaper for us to travel around the world than it was just to fly home.
Wow. Okay.
So we ended up going like on this 6 month.
Wait, I don't understand how that works.
I don't know either.
Why did the prices go up?
This is
Wouldn't
some
people be
serious
scared
stonks.
to fly?
Yeah, less people were flying, so the price went up.
Did they put the price down when that
Yeah,
happened?
that
No, I
doesn't.
mean, if you look at COVID, less people fly and the prices went up.
Huh.
That's
I'm gonna
what
trust you on the
happened.
stonks here.
Isn't
I'm
that
too
different?
bad at economics.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't actually remember when 9/11 happened when I was young. I must
I
not have been
remember
forming
hearing
memories.
that.
Of, like,
I was in
that
England
point.
on this trip where I got my Game Boy Color. I remember it.
I don't at all.
Same.
Let's all talk about what we don't know.
Yeah.
Nick, you tell us what you do know. That's
So
much
you
more
went
interesting.
around the world.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
went.
pretty serious detour.
Yeah, it is. It took a while. And we went to like Egypt, Europe, Asia.
Whoa.
That's so
India.
cool.
That's crazy.
All sorts of places, and then finally got home. And I remember getting home, and all my primary school friends had no idea who I was.
Oh,
I was away for that long,
Wow.
and so I basically had to like make new friends with people that I've already made friends with. They just don't
Wait, so how long were
remember.
you gone?
And that was traumatic. About a year and a quarter.
You're like, hey, my man, Dave. And he's like, who the fuck are you?
Literally, I was like, literally my best
Oh.
friend at the time, Jed. I was like, oh my God, I finally get to see Jed again. Because I'm like by myself in this like round the world trip.
That's
In my head, I'm just
brutal.
like, I can't wait to get home to Jed.
Thinking about Jed every night.
And then I go home, I was like, Jed, how are you? He's like, who are you?
But I mean, I didn't remember.
Kids
I
suck.
wasn't forming memories at that stage, so clearly.
Yeah. I was
kids
just going to bring
weren't.
that up when you guys were talking about like when you leave primary school, you just forget completely
Yeah,
about
yeah,
your
yeah.
friends. Yeah, that happened to me twice.
Where's Jed now?
I actually ended up reconnecting with him through work. but
Did he
I'll get to
remember you
that later.
this
Yeah.
time? That's good.
No, we actually became friends again after becoming after leaving.
Is this the plot of 50 First Dates?
What is this?
And then I went away again, and it happened again. And then I went to high school.
Why?
And-
Hang on. Really?
Yeah, after primary school.
I feel like it was so intense you were in primary school. And then, okay, sorry.
Traveling around the world, like seeing
Wait,
all
so
those
how
places,
old
is
were you?
really cool.
I was turning 7 when I got home. So I
Right.
was 6.
Okay.
I feel like that might have like shaped you a fair bit because I feel like you're very interested in like different cultures and stuff like that. Would you?
You're pretty
Well,
worldly.
my family did a lot of traveling. Like after that, it was pretty much every second year we'd go on a trip.
Me
around.
too, but I just went to the white countries.
Uh,
Like with my parents, most of it was like we went to America twice. We went to Canada once. Used to go to Phuket a lot as a kid, but that was about the extent of it.
so yeah, went to high school. Same kind of deal with these two. Didn't know anyone. Had to make friends for like the third time in my life. Didn't know anyone. Did some more trips. Graduated high school.
What was your favorite trip?
My favorite, they all had really good points. Probably Africa, because I like animals. And also I was a bit older. I think I didn't really appreciate traveling as much when I was younger
You totally don't, like as a kid.
because to me it was just like a month and a half away from my friends, especially because we'd do it over like the summer holidays. And I like kind of hated them. And then as you're older, you kind of realize like, hey, this is like a really good experience.
Yeah.
Kids are fucking ungrateful little things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like I remember specifically when I went to England, I was like, I'm missing this Muse concert that's on my birthday because I'm going to be away in England in this like 2-month trip. This sucks. Like,
I remember you going away for that too.
yeah, I was so sad.
So high school,
High school was alright.
anything notable?
Played the French horn. Oh yeah,
My most
I'll,
iconic high school moment. I
I'll
played the
talk about
horn.
music. So in year 6, my mum kind of forced me into playing guitar, so I would get into the music program at our high school. And I remember auditioning to this classical professor, very classical music man, loves his classical music. I sang to him Green Day,
Which song?
Time of Your Life.
Oh, yeah.
Needless to
Banger.
say, I didn't get into the guitar program, but he recognized my music capabilities and gave me the French horn instead. I think they were just desperate.
What a bad consolation prize.
I don't hear many French horn outros on your streams.
Oh man, if I had a French horn, those things are expensive. Started architecture, stopped architecture, started psychology, stopped psychology. Did a year away, traveled Canada and stuff.
What did
came
you not
back.
like about them?
I honestly, it wasn't the courses. I just wasn't cut out for uni. And it took me a long time to realize that. A long time and a lot of debt.
Oh no.
And then, yeah, after 2 gap years or so, I realized like, oh, TAFE's the way to go. TAFE is like community college equivalent. And so now I'm at TAFE.
Doing?
Graphic design.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying that
Talk
more?
about it because that's what you're like most passionate about. Right?
Yeah. Well,
These
I
days?
like art. I like being creative. My mum's an art teacher, so I think I got that from her. And I'm like, how can I do art and get paid for it?
How much of art do you think is a learnt skill versus natural talent? Because I heard a lot of people do say, just start learning and you'll be good eventually. But Fuck, I so bad.
No, it's definitely. I have this example of me. Like we have to do a drawing class at TAFE, and when we all started, like me and my friends sucked. Like we were so bad at drawing, and then after like 3 weeks of just like actually sitting down and practicing for 2 hours a week, we're pretty good. Like now we can draw.
That's
And
nuts. As if it's that quick. I need
it's
to
really
do that.
quick.
I've never even tried. It's just been like once every month I'll get asked to draw something and I'll be bad and then be like, yes, I can't draw. But I've never tried
be
to
able
learn.
to
I
do
think people
this
write it
at
off as
all.
like something that they perceive as like natural.
That's everyone does that with everything. I feel
Yeah.
like.
And some stuff is obviously you just put in the work and you get there.
I
feel
think
like
it's almost
everything is-
everything.
I'll
Just
keep you
honestly.
updated because I'm going to a like painting class next week. So I'll let you know if it's terrible.
Surely
Or
this is
like
a date.
Painting is a
Yeah.
bit
I
hard.
was going to say, when would you ever do that on your own accord?
See, I wouldn't,
class.
except like she's good at painting.
Damn, you must really like it.
and was angry. And if you listen to the last podcast about me beating her at mini golf, she was like, "Well, I need to beat you at something." And then 'cause
Beat
she
you in
likes art.
painting.
She was like,
you would never go on an art painting date with me. You wouldn't. You would. You barely would read a. Oh man.
We did a bit of watercolor stuff in our class, and that's hard. That's probably a natural thing.
"I'll bring it on the next podcast."
Yo, painting reveal.
Only at 900k subs.
Oh shit.
Anything else notable?
I've run my toe over twice with a forklift.
Forklift.
Yeah,
Same toe.
the same toe.
Really?
2 years apart, almost to the day.
Did you say toe years apart?
2 years apart. Took a while to heal. Oh yeah, I should talk about my jobs. That's
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. So I started
Talk
off
about
working
them.
at a fish and chip place on the beach, and then I quit that, and no, I got fired from that.
Why? That's always funny.
It's actually no. It's because we went away for a school trip, and then when I got back, they're like, "You don't have a job
Oh,
because I don't value work."
that's not funny.
Yeah, it's not that funny. No, I worked.
But
at
wait, there's more.
I worked at Dome for a bit, but they
That is
told
a
me
cafe here in Perth.
Yeah.
For anyone that might not know.
Yeah, it's like Starbucks. It's like our version of Starbucks.
Yeah, but terrible.
Really bad.
And I had like the 6 a.m. shift, and I got called into the office, and the boss was like, "Oh, you need to look happier." And this is like 6:30 in the morning, and so I said, "I don't think I can work here anymore."
These job requirements are too much. I am out.
Enjoy my life. Bye.
And then after that, I worked at another cafe at Craigie.
Wait, what was their response when you said
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't care. I'd been there for like 2 weeks at this point.
Oh,
So they're
okay.
like, all right, we'll find someone else. And then I started selling potatoes with my sister.
That is like sounds way more country than what it
It's
actually
like
was.
just sacks of potatoes and he lobs them at people.
On the side of the
No,
street.
it's like cooked stuffed with stuff like
yeah,
cheese and
it's like a stuffed spud van.
Oh,
Yeah.
so different to
It
what
sounds
does
yeah, it
like.
sounds like you're in overalls at the side of the road with bags of potatoes, like flagging down cars.
I mean,
How many
too
tons of
far off.
potatoes y'all need?
My job was to wrap all the potatoes in alfoil. So I just sat there for like 8 hours, wrapped like 9,000 potatoes in foil. And I loved it.
Best job you ever had.
Did you just like chat?
It is. I still do it sometimes. I still go back and help.
No, you don't
the,
get paid, you
owner.
just love it so much.
Well, that's the thing about selling potatoes. The pay's actually pretty
He
good.
does it for the craft, you know.
What do you do? Just chat as you.
Yeah, you just put some music on, you sit on a tent and wrap potatoes, and
I'd do that. That
I
sounds
could
fun.
get yeah. I
Yeah.
feel
you
like I
get
could
really
behind
good.
that.
They used to have races like who can wrap the potatoes
Uh-huh.
fastest. I mean, I still do that on the side, but now I work at a supermarket.
And stream, main hustle.
Oh yeah, now I stream as well.
Oh yeah, anyone
I
that
do
hasn't
freelance.
already, go to twitch.tv/snuffles. We haven't plugged you enough because you
with
only
2
started
S's.
kind of recently.
Yeah, it's a recent thing. It's developing. Well,
If you want to see more of him waking up early and looking depressed, because you stream in the mornings here, like fairly early.
why do time zones exist?
I'm gonna enter your chat and just be like, I need you to look happier for this stream for me to not
I'm
quit.
just gonna end
The
the
stream's over.
Yeah, stop.
Don't think I
streaming.
can do this anymore.
Yeah, I got fired from the other cafe as well because I went away on music tour for high school, and then I got back, and they're like, "You don't have a job here."
You guys suck. Do you not make an agreement before you go or something?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, only going for a month. It's not a lot.
I've heard a lot of kids' stories that like end like that. Like young workers that go away, like you can just
They got
cut
no
'em
rights,
loose.
zero
it's like
rights.
actually no rights.
You get paid like
yeah.
$8 an hour and you have no job security.
and you're a casual. And it's
Epic.
just like if you ever like don't show up to a shift, it's like you come back there like who? Jed? Like who's that? They forget who you
Your
are.
manager's Jed and they're like, we don't know who
Speaking
you
of
are.
Jed, so
Oh,
Jed
yes, how did
worked
it
at the
come back around?
supermarket that I got a job at, and I noticed him. I was like, "Oh, hey man, how are you?" He's like, "Who are you?"
No. No.
You got who are you twice by
By
the
the same
Jed.
Jed.
This Jed is a savage.
I hope he never watches this.
Ollie, if you got the ear piercing,
Oh yeah, what inspired that? That's my question.
I've always wanted to do it. You actually inspired me by making it a donation reward on Twitch, and within 20 minutes, someone paid for it.
Oh wow.
It's like hard to justify paying for it, and then it's like, oh, donation reward.
I want it, but it's kind of dumb. I'd do it if it was free though, and I was like, do I have a solution for you?
Maybe I should have a tattoos because I want to get tattoos.
Do it.
I want to pay for
I mean, you
it.
have to
People would
scrape
pay for
it.
it.
Expensive.
You'd have to let them choose the tattoo though.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I do have to get a frog ear piercing at some point. I'm not too happy about that, but it was a promise I made.
That's good.
So that is all our life stories.
Mhm.
And I think this podcast is probably long enough with that.
Yeah, if you made it to this point, you deserve a lemon.
We've had some interesting lives though, so I hope you enjoyed hearing about them. I certainly did. I didn't know a lot of things I learned in this
What
podcast.
was the best thing you learned? I'll start. I was learning about Nick's gear adventure.
That's what I was.
Year and a
that's
half, I
great.
suppose.
Yeah,
ended
year
up
and a
with,
bit.
right?
You're like 3 months.
That's by
That's
far the
very
most interesting
exciting.
thing I learned. That was crazy.
I liked hearing Jordan play games in his backyard. That was very funny.
Oh, GTA, that was funny.
Yeah, Jordan played
I
inappropriate
started
games.
off with GTA and Call of Duty and slowly worked down to now I play Super Smash Bros. And Zelda.
That's pretty funny.
I liked Peter's story about being rejected because he was too short. Because
Oh, that was
I
very
sleuthed who the girl was, and I still see her
Well, I
these days as well, and it's.
Yeah, please don't bring it up. She's gonna think I'm even weirder.
Oh,
I didn't talk about it on the podcast.
Then you told
Really cut up
50,000
about it.
people.
My favourite part was learning about Zach the zebra. I think it might catch on again.
Oh yeah. No, people are too busy with Scrappy Z. Can't believe you didn't make my first owner a zebra, Peter.
That would have been good.
Missed opportunity. Little
Little
zebra.
zebra.
Damn, that's like combining double bullying. And with me being bullied, I want to end the podcast.
Thanks for watching.
Bye. Yeah, this is really long, so good job, gamers. So I said game. Sorry, Zach.